It's time to duel, everybody, and today for you guys, we are going to be profiling a fun little deck that I've thoroughly enjoyed playing over the course of time. It's been a hot minute since I reprofiled this deck. I've been retesting new things out in it since I think it's been over a year almost since I've profiled it, and that is my Malefic deck. Now, Malefics are not meta. This is a pretty, you could take it to locals and do pretty good with it, I think. I don't know about the current meta, but you could definitely do decent at locals with it. But it is, at the end of the day, just a fun deck to play. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can play Malefics since the Lair of Darkness structure that came out. Because actually, I think using some of the cards from the Lair of Darkness structure deck, I was testing it out. I think it's the Wolf. You could actually search out some of your Malefic monsters. If you wanted to go down that path, you can definitely do that. But I like using Malefic still in a way of stun aspect. So that's the kind of the way I stuck to with this deck. But overall, I'm very impressed with how the deck's done recently. It's a pretty good deck. It's a pretty decent deck. And without further ado, we'll get into the deck profile. So first off, you run your 3 Malefic Stardust Dragon. Now, Malefic Stardust Dragon is definitely essential into the deck. You protect your field spells. Now, people were talking about to me, and I've been testing out different field spells. I still run Necro Valley. I still run Mound of the Bound Creator for bringing out my big monsters. But you can definitely run different field spells depending upon what you want. Some people were talking about Summon Break to me. Tried it out. It's 50-50. Necro Valley I get the best luck on is one of the best field spells out there for negating stuff in the opponent's graveyard, especially with Necro Valley's new errata. It works a lot better, but the field spell, you can definitely change up field spells depending upon what field spells you want to play as tech options in the deck for sure. But 3 Malefic Stardust Dragon helps you protect those field spells. It's a 25 beater, which works out nicely. And you're also able to do different things with other cards you summon to the field to stun your opponent and beat over your opponent with your different Malefic monsters. The only other big Malefic monster I run is Malefic Cyber End Dragon in the deck, which is your big beater. Some people say they don't like this card. I don't know why. But it's a 4,000 beater with Mound of the Bound Creator on the field. It can't be destroyed and can't be targeted. That's why he's amazing, because he works with Mound of the Bound Creator, and it's one of the reasons I like splashing him in just random decks that I run Mound of the Bound, because it's that good, because he's just a level 10 free special summon monster. So he's just a 4,000 beater with Mound of the Bound Creator. If you guys don't know what that card is by now, this card pretty much says your monsters can't be destroyed by card effects and can't be targeted. So this protects him, and he becomes just a 4,000 special summonable beater, which is nice. So 3 Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Next up we run, and this is, these 3 are options. The next couple cards are optional for you, but 2 Malefic Parallel Gear. Some people don't like this card, and I completely understand why. It's not an amazing card, but I want to kind of make it because I actually like going into the synchros, and it allows me to go with Stardust Dragon into level 8, level 10 synchro plays, which is kind of nice. So I can go for synchro plays such as going for this amazing card, which is, I'll try to pronounce it for you, Draconek Corrupted Nether Soul Dragon, as well as you're able to go for Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Trees as well. This is really good. It'll be a level 10, so it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So this is very nice to go for, because you can just do a whole bunch of damage and maybe FTK your opponent or OTK your opponent, more OTK your opponent that turn, but it's up to you. The other card we run, which is something that you can definitely try out, and if you don't like it, cut it. I run it because I just like it. It's kind of fun to play around with. If you want to make the deck more competitive, maybe you take it out for some other things, which I'll talk about in the deck profile. But when I'm just playing for fun, I just like running this card as a one-of. But Malefic Truth Dragon, pretty much your Malefic monster dies. Any one of these dies. You special summon this card out from your hand or graveyard. It's a 5,000 beater. It could do a whole bunch of different crazy things. It's over a level excuse me, it is a level 10, level I think 11, so it will be protected by Mound of the Bound Creator as well, so that is nice. So that's what you do with this big boy right here. You don't have to run Malefic Truth Dragon though, if you don't want to. But let's get into our stun aspect of the deck more that's not Malefic based. So 3 Thunder King, because he's back at 3 of. You run definitely 3 Thunder King in the deck. 3 Inspector Border. These are some of your main stun aspect cards of the deck. You know, if you say, especially when you're going first turn, like you can go normal summon Inspector Border, special summon a Malefic monster, stun your opponent by setting some of your back row and other cards, or you can go summon your Malefic monster, normal summon your Thunder King Gryo, and do different things that way. So I like these cards for the stun aspect they give with the deck. And the deck really relies upon, if you really want to know, side decking your cards in and out. So like depending upon the situation, I will definitely side Malefic Truth Dragon out and maybe 1 Malefic Parallel Gear if I really want to. For certain cards to tech in against my opponent if I want to take it to like a local just tournament for fun. But overall, you definitely want to run 3 of each of these because they really help the deck in its stun aspect, quote unquote. Next we run a Kaiju engine. Now, there's different reasons why we run a Kaiju engine, okay? Number 1, it helps get around boards that are problematic, all right? And number 2, it is also a mini draw engine for your deck. And it helps, it's a way to get around big boards that are problems and monsters that are problematic, as well as bringing out big monsters ourselves, as well as being an engine because they're level 8s, they work with trade-in. So that's why you see a little bit of a rank 8 trade-in build into the deck. And that's why I chose these Kaijus compared to something else maybe out there. Because Doggeron can help get around Gamma Seal. And also I like the Garandagra. Now people may understand why you're not running one of the smaller ones like the Skiing Kaiju that's lower attack. It's because he's a level 8. And because if you have a Gamma Seal and this in hand, this can still beat over Gamma Seal or what have you. You know, if you have Doggeron in hand, this can beat over Doggeron. This can beat over this. That works. Some people were talking to me about running Waterfront, which you can definitely run Waterfront as one of your field spells in your deck for your Malefic engine. And because you're running the Kaijus, you can definitely do that. I will be completely honest with you. You can definitely do that. However, the problematic thing I had with that was, don't forget, if you give your opponent a Kaiju, and it has counters on Waterfront, Kyoto Waterfront, they can use the Kaiju's effect. Don't forget that. And when I use the Kaijus, I like to use them as beat sticks, not so much for their effects, if you get what I'm saying. That's one of the downsides. Your opponents can use the effect off Kaiju Waterfront, your Kaiju Waterfront. So there's some yin and yang for that. Yes, Kaiju Waterfront protects itself, but there's a little bit of yin and yang with that. So if you want to run it and you feel that would work out, try it out. I would definitely say maybe you take out Necro Valley if you wanted to, but that's up to you to decide as the player. But we definitely run these ones specifically because it works with the rank 8 engine and they're just big beaters. And they allow us also with Malefic Stardust Dragon to go for level 8 exceed plays as well. So they have multiple uses, mainly because they revolve around being level 8s. So don't forget that. Next we run 2 Commandant. Like I said, if you don't want to run the Necro Valley, you can take the Commandants out for something else. But we also run, along with the 2 Commandants as I get here, let's go over this field spell ratio, which I always have to emphasize to people. These are all the field spells you really need. I would only run a ratio of 4 field spells, and you have multiple ways of searching stuff here. So you have 2 Terraforming that can search out either or. You have Commandant, which can search out Necro Valley. You have Mound, which can be searched out by Terraforming. So you have a good ratio of getting to your field spells very quickly. That's why I like the Necro Valley. It shuts down my opponent's card effects and things of that nature. It also can work with this, your Commandants. And Mound works with your big boys. It can protect them. and you can easily search it out through terraforming, and terraforming can search out everything else. So it's up to you. People have mentioned Steel of the Orichalcos. I mean, you could if you really want to be fancy and you want to go for that, go right ahead. There's other things you can try out there. Summon Breaker, like I said earlier, is another one you can try out if you want to. Kaiju Waterfront, you can try that out. But this is what I like running because it works for me. Against what I just play against at locals and random stuff I play against, like when I just play online. But if you feel like you want to go against other things because you want to try to make the deck a little bit different, or you want to try different things out to see if it works out, go right ahead, try those choices out. I tried them, they didn't work for me, maybe they would work for you. So, just saying that. So we run all those field spells right there, that's all we need to run really. Then we run our triple trade-in. Like I said, this works with Malefic Stardust Dragon, the Kaiju engine if you draw too many Kaijus. Overall, it works out fairly well. Pod Desires you run as a one of. Upstart Goblin is a one of. Dim Fissure because it's pretty good. And also the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber because you're running a Kaiju engine. So yeah. Desires, I never like running more than one Desires. I treat it as Pod of Greed because I always seem to draw Desires into Desires no matter what the heck I do. I swear that sometimes I would just draw Desires into Desires just by... I actually had that happen one time. I accidentally put a Desires in my deck. I was testing it out. And after two games I had drawn Desires into Desires back to back. I was like, okay, I see deck, you're telling me something here. So Upstart Goblin's good, makes it a 39 card deck. Dim Fissure, good. You don't worry about your graveyard that much. You may say, well, that conflicts with Necro Valley, but, you know, if they pop this, their cards will still go to grave. And then Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, good card. Same thing, we run some one-of Skill Drain, Macro, and Eradicator Epidemic Virus here. Like I said, you may say this conflicts with Necro Valley. That is true, because they'll banish everything. But at the same time, if they pop this, you know, also, yeah, it's just other... You're using multiple floodgates to make sure they can't get you through your floodgates, if you get what I'm saying here. So Skill Drain, you don't care about your card effects besides pretty much, I would say, Parallel Gear, Thunder King, and Inspector Border, but it's an amazing card. You can just use the beatdown strategy. Eradicator, you can tribute off any of your big dark boys over here that you got. Call spells. Destroy all their spells. If they're a heavy trap-based deck, you call traps. It's a great card. You definitely run this as a one of in the deck. So that is all for the main deck. There's not that much. Like I said, there's a couple things here and there that you can play around with, try different cards out, try different ratios. You definitely can run your Ash Blossoms and Joyous Springs if you wanted to. Take out the Necro Valley and stuff. You could also run your Call by the Graves if you feel like. It's up to you. Like, I have those cards, but I can't find the space really in there from testing and trying to build consistency with the deck. Next we have our Field Center, Stardust Dragon. We have the Ultimate Rare Stardust Dragon that I've had for years now. Two other Stardust Dragons. These are for your Malefic Stardust Dragon. You will sometimes go through all three just to bring out 2 Stardust. Your Cyber End Dragon, you want to have 3 of those as well. So these are just, you know, things you need. Then you have the Draco Connector. We run 2 of those. And 1 Leo. This is for your parallel gear plays. Next we have our level 8s that we sometimes go into. Hope Harbinger, Snap a 68, the Snap Sky Prison. A little bit of a Galaxy package right here. Techion, Photon Eyes, Galaxy Lord, and then Cypher Dragon, the big boy. And then lastly, I run 1 Dividing Dragon Knight Felgrant. Just a good card, level 8 to have. You could also run things like number 23 Lancelot if you wanted to, and things of that nature. Now, you may say also, well, why are you not running Links? I never find myself going for Links, but if I was going to put Links in the deck, I would probably just run like the Nightmare package engine, if you really want to be that way. So you could run the Nightmares if you wanted to too. You can play around with this extra deck as you want to. But I find that I go for just like maybe one Exceed or one Synchro play, yeah, and that's all I go for. Like, you don't really use your extra deck that much, besides like going for these Synchro monsters usually just about every duel down here. And you need the extra deck, you need monsters in your extra deck because you need them for your Malefic monsters. So there's no way you can use like a some cards that whatchamacallit use. Oh gosh, like True Draco use, like the Monarchs Erupt and things of that nature. It's not going to work out that well in the deck overall. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this deck profile. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. Like I said, you can definitely side deck in and out cards that you feel like would be good against your side deck matchup. So, for example, if depending upon your matchup, if you wanted to run things like Ash Blossom in your main deck, you could play around by taking the Necro Valley Commandants out. If you feel like you want to run Call by the Grave, you can run Call by the Grave. If you feel like you want to run some other of the Ghost Girls, you can run, you know, Infinite Impermanence, which I do not own, but you can also run things like Evenly Matched, Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, your Ghost Ogres, your Drill Locks, your Dim Barriers. You could run. Like, you could run all these good things in the side deck. Red Reboot. This deck can easily side in and out once you understand what cards to take out of the main deck and side in and out for. You can definitely run Evenly Matched if you wanted to too, but that's all up to you what you want to side deck in and out for your deck. But you can really run the generic side deck. If the one thing you have to watch out for, and I will say this from playing this deck a little bit, you do have to watch out for things like Rivalry of the Warlords and things such as Goes in Match, because they will hurt you. They will hurt you at the end of the day. Those cards are very powerful, and your deck being multiple types, multiple attributes, can be hurt by that. So do keep that in mind. But like I said, you can side deck things in by keeping Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclones in your side deck, and then side decking your cards out that you don't need, maybe. Like I said, if they don't hurt by Necro Valley, maybe you take the Commandants out for space. There's different things I've been playing around with in your deck that you can definitely take out for side decking. But it's like I said, it's a fun deck. Not a competitive deck, but it's a fun deck that you can try out. So till next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Take care, everybody.